Hello and welcome to Tea Time with Pizza. If it is your first time today with us on this channel, make sure that you subscribe and you like this video. Also, feel free to go through all the other videos that we've already shot and then just take your time to watch it, comment in the comment sections. This is Tea Time. It's for everyone to give their opinion on the issues that I brought forward and discuss with you. It is a learning channel, so please feel free to interact with one another in the comment section. Also follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. We will really appreciate that. Today we are going to be talking about something that is just very important, and this topic was actually sent to me by one of my friends on Facebook, and she was wondering whether or not I have actually seen this post. It was a post that she screenshot on one of the pages and sent it to me, and she was wondering if I have seen it already. She then went ahead and asked if I could do a video on it or at least post it on my page, but I decided that, you know what, let me just make a video, put it on YouTube, and it will be easier for everyone to have access to it and just give my thoughts on this particular issue. So what she sent me was a post, and the post says, it was on the Africa's Leading Ladies page, and this post says, single mothers with children at home. I'm just going to read it. I'm going to read exactly what the post that she sent me says. It says, single mothers with children at home. Take it easy on posting your carbs so much. I just watched an interview with a child predator. Direct quotes. So this is a person writing a post, and then she put a direct quote of what was on the interview that she watched. She said, direct quotes, I don't follow teenagers. I don't follow teen girls on social media. I look at the mother's page, and if I don't see a man in the house, that's who I target. I get at the mother to get to the daughter. Spend some money because that's what a good man does, smiled in bracket, and I am there. I use her selfishness and loneliness against her. With all this co-parenting, I am having my way. I am a wolf and there is no hunters around. I am a wolf and there is no hunters around to protect the flocks. I have been doing this a long time. I am a master at it. Who is going to stop me? Question mark. This is a quotation of a child predator that this girl watched on an interview and decided to make this post. She then went on and said, every predator doesn't drive a white van. Some are handsome, charming, and drive a Benz. And then she went on to say, I feel these dudes out like life depends on it because it actually does. And then she puts her name, which I don't want to mention because, privacy reason. But if she watched this, she'll probably know I'm talking about her post. So I saw this, and this girl sent it to me, and she goes, Sidonia, I don't know if you've seen this, but I think you need to make a video and remind mothers to be careful of the things that they post on Facebook with their children. Because as this child predator said, he doesn't go targeting teen girls anymore. He goes looking at single mothers' pages. He goes looking at women's pages and then figure out who is single, figure out who doesn't have a man around, who has a teenage girl, who is lonely, who is more vulnerable, and target that person. And then he comes in as someone who is coming as a helper, as a lover, potentially, even as a potential father to her children. He's saying he comes in, spend some money, and lure his way in, using her loneliness and her selfishness, against her. So this guy knows what he's doing. And there are a lot of men out there like this. There are a lot of people out there like this who would do this. And I don't want to emphasize so much on this predator. I don't want to focus so much on this post and this child predator, but I just want to say, because I actually see a lot of parents like, guys, this is not even a joke. This guy is right. This guy is right about targeting women through their post and look and trying to figure out who has a child, a teenage daughter. He's actually right, because these days our lives, half if not most of our lives, are on social media. And there are many of us who go around posting photos of our children and our daughters. And the most disturbing thing that I have actually seen is during a back to school session, like back to school season, after the holidays or 2 weeks holiday break, or even after the big Christmas break, you will see parents, mothers taking pictures of their children, posting it on Facebook, their back to school photos, and tagging the school name. Like you're literally letting these people know where to target your children, where to get your children from, where to go and start following you. And if this guy is willing to take as much time to actually investigate you and trying to find out about your life and who is in your life, whether you're single or not, and go as far as spending money just to get to your house, just so he can have access to your child, this is serious. So we really have to stop doing that. So today in this video, I'm just going to go on and give a few tips on what I think we should do as parents, especially as single mothers, to try and keep our children safe. It is not all the tips there are in the world. There's so much more that you can do. But this is just something that, is obvious that we should be doing, that we don't really do. We neglect, and sometimes can really put us into trouble or put our children into trouble out there with people like this. And I also want to mention that this predator is talking about a person that he don't know. But remember that every day of our lives, we're surrounded with people that are not safe. We're surrounded with people that have bad and evil intentions. We're surrounded with some are even family members. Guys, sex predators or people that goes around molesting children or even committing crimes against us are not people that are very far away from us. These are family members. These are people that knows us inside out. Inside out. And I remember growing up as a young girl, as a teen, there used to be a lot of uncles in the community. And oh my God, my friends can testify to this if they watch this video. There used to be a lot of uncles, them grown up uncles, and they used to literally like have our numbers from, I don't know if it's from like community meetings or youth meetings or whatever. This man will call us and will be like, Uncle So is calling, Uncle So is calling. Why is he calling? And then we'll pick up, be like, hello, Uncle, let's just pretend, one of the uncle is James. Hello, Uncle James. And then this man is like, oh, don't call me uncle. How are you? Long time no see. Where have you been hiding? And I'm thinking, what business do you have with me? I'm just a young girl, I'm 18. You're a grown-up person. You come into my house and drink alcohol with, my parent, and then you go behind my parents' back trying to make a phone call. And I remember a friend of mine confessing to me about how a particular uncle would come to drink with her father, and then he would go as far as trying to talk to her in her room. And she's like, no, you can't talk to me in my room. You have to get out, go back, or I'll call my dad. And at least she could do that. She was bold enough to tell him off. Imagine if she was just a little girl who was so naive and not mature enough to know what was happening. So we have to be really extremely careful. So I'm going to go right ahead and give us some of the tips that I believe that will help us to keep our children safe. Okay, let's get to the point. Let's get right to the point. So point number 1, in no particular order, this is just a couple of tips. Tips number 1, keep your children or your child off social media as much as you can. Like limit their access to social media. Like that post says, this man states that he's going to be targeting profiles of women to try and figure out, who has a teenage daughter and all the information that they need to be able to come forward and pursue a fake relationship with you just in order to get to your teen daughter. So keep your children as much as you can off social media. Don't, when you share a post, don't tag your location, don't tag your school, children's school. Don't give any information that will make you or your children a target. Number 2, for your older children that has access to social media, I would say try your very best to monitor what they do on their social media, and even if possible, have access to that account. And just monitor everything. Know who your children are talking to. Know who your children are associating with on social media. Tip number 3, I would say educate your child or your children on stranger danger. It is very, very important that our children know that the world that we live in is very, very wicked, and that they can't just trust no one. As bad as that sounds, to be honest, I would teach my children not to trust anybody. Like, even if it's a person that I know, I would be like, you just know that this world is just a messed up world. You're a child. You need to be very extra careful. Like, you need to teach your kids about strangers. Don't associate with strangers. Don't talk to strangers. If a stranger comes towards you and you feel very uncomfortable, run, scream, whatever. Whatever tips that you're going to give for them to stay safe and stay away from strangers, I would say make them aware of it, teach them so that they don't actually, get groomed and become victims. Another tip, I have even lost count of how many tips. Another tips, I would say encourage your children or your child to speak to you when they see something that makes them feel uncomfortable, or when they hear something that makes them feel uncomfortable, or when somebody tries to do anything to them that makes them feel uncomfortable. Encourage your children to always speak to you about things like that. Make yourself an approachable parent. Don't be just tough, focus on discipline, but you're not actually giving your children the confidence to be able to come forward and tell you that, Mom, this strange thing is happening. This strange uncle is talking to me this way. This strange brother at church is talking to me this way. Give them that confidence to be able to come and be open with you without them fearing that you're just going to beat them up, or you're just going to punish them or discipline them. Let your children feel free and able to talk to you. Another tip is visitors. Limit the amount of access that people have to your house. Your house is your safety ground, is where your children are supposed to be safe, where you're supposed to be safe. Not everybody needs to know where you live. Some people that you don't know, meet them at the shopping center. If you're trying a new friendship or a new relationship or whatever, not everyone is supposed to come pick you up from your home. Not everybody is supposed to come have a date with you in your home. Until you're absolutely sure of the person that you're allowing into your home, limit the access that people have to your home. And when you do have a visitor, when you do have visitors, like male visitors in your home, please make sure your children stays away. Let your children not come and be everywhere and, all over your male visitors, male friends or whatever. And, and then I read somewhere there was a list of things that parents shouldn't allow their children to do. And one of them is, do not let your child sit on a male's lap, on a man's lap. And I agree with that. Like, I would say that's another tip. Don't let your children, especially your girls' children, come and sit on male's lap. You don't know who this person is. You don't know what the intentions of this person is. And then you have a young girl. There's a lot of people, a lot of children, a lot of horrible stories about how children has been molested in the presence of adults because they were either sitting, on an adult's lap, and they were doing very disturbing and disgusting stuff to them. So don't give that chance. Don't open that door for your child to become a victim of such abuse. Let your children learn to stay away. When you have adults, when you have friends that come over that are not children, when they are not children, when they don't come with their families, with their children, your children shouldn't be around either. Let your children go and stay somewhere in the back of the house or in another living room or in their rooms or whatever until the visitors leave, then they can come out. Or if they have another living room or playroom, I would rather them be there than they come and be where the visitors are. Another tip that I would give is also sleepovers. I'm someone I'm against sleepovers, guys. Like, I don't care what you say, but to me, sleepovers, I would rather my children sleep home and then I bring a sitter if I need to go out or something, than to have my children go to another person's house and do a sleepover with friends or with relatives. Like I said, even relatives can abuse children, our children. Like, our children can be abused by our relatives. So we have to be very, very careful, not to just trust anyone. And sleepover, what the hell is even sleepover? Why can't the children just have a day where they can just get together, get along with each other, associate with each other, play with each other, play dates, and then at the end of the day, everybody just pick up their kid and go home? Why must children be going to this person's house, this person's house, this person's house for sleepover? You don't know who is going to be there. This person might be your friend, this woman might be your friend. Do you know the husband? Do you know the husband's brother? Do you know the husband's friend who might be coming to the house to have a drink? You don't know. So let us not just be too trusting. Let us not be too trusting. We shouldn't just trust people so easily. So our next point is have the same person care for your kids. Yes, have a routine for your children. Let them know who is actually involved in taking care of them in their lives. Have one person that you trust. If this is a family daycare provider, let it be the same person. If this is a family friend who is helping you out, if possible, keep the same routine, keep the same person. Let the children go to the same place so that if anything happened to these kids, you know who to hold responsible. You know who to hold responsible. But if you take your kids today here, then tomorrow to another place, then the day after to another house, and then something happened in between to this child, and let's say this child don't know these people, and then your child comes and tell you, Mom, I have been abused, or something has happened to me, or maybe you discover that your child have been abused. How are you going to know who did that to your child? So I'm not even saying take it to one person because that one person is going to abuse them then. But keeping the same person keeps a routine, a safe routine for the children. You develop a trust for this person, and the child develop trust for this person. And then you know this person, like you would know this person. And if something just doesn't feel right, then you know how to address it. But avoid taking your children from place to place to place to place, making them confused and making them to think that it is actually okay to have so many people care for them. And this will make it very easy for children to trust strangers because you are constantly exposing so many strangers to them. So to finish up, let's just go through this video again. Let's stop doing things that exposes our children to danger. And this video is not necessarily to target single mothers, but because on this post that I read, this sex predator or child predator, in his interview stated that he targets a single mother who is home alone, who is lonely, who is vulnerable, and then uses her vulnerability against her. And also the fact that she doesn't have a male around to protect her, to pick up so quickly on what this guy's intention is what makes me actually talk about this video in a way that it's like I'm addressing single mothers. But the tips that I've given is to all parents, is honestly to all parents. I guess the thing is with single parents is you're alone. You're alone, you're hustling, you're doing a double duty by yourself. And so when a person comes into your life, you're thinking, oh my God, God has sent me a helper. But not everyone that comes into our lives comes to help us. Some comes to destroy and some comes to take. So we just have to be very careful. But then again, this video is not really just to target single parents. It's not to say that your parenting is bad. It's not to say that the fact that you post on social media makes you a bad parent. But this is just to bring more awareness into something that is actually happening. And some of us, because it hasn't happened directly to us, we neglect it. we are not as careful as we should be, because it hasn't happened to us yet, or it hasn't happened close to home yet. But we shouldn't be waiting until something happens before we take precautions. So thank you so much to Edwina, the girl that sent this to me. Thank you for sending this through to me. When I read it, I was really shocked. I was just like, oh my God, is that how far a person can actually go to commit such evil? Because if you read the post, like, it talks about what he's gonna do, how he's gonna be so nice, and he's going to spend some money on this woman, and he's gonna come just as a lover, and just as a good person with good intentions, just to get his way, and then to attack. So the fact that he can be prepared to put so much work into committing this evil act just tells us that there are a lot of people out there who are just walking around with the wrong intentions. Like he said, he no longer target teens. He target mothers of teens to get to their teenagers. So let's just be very, very careful. And let's continue to do what we have to do to protect our young ones and to protect ourselves. Because the truth of the matter is that we live in a world that is more wicked than probably maybe back in the days. So let's just be careful. I'm just going to end this video here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe again to this channel. Share this video to just give a reminder to all parents to be very careful and more careful with their young ones. And let's continue to love one another and continue to love one another. Also, go to our Instagram page and Facebook page and follow us on Tea Time with Peter. I'll see you on our next video. Thank you. God bless you.